Rising interest rates. Okay, so rising interest rates, that's something that's important, isn't it? If you take out interest-only loans to minimise your repayments and improve your cash flow, that would serve that. So if you're paying only interest, because you've chosen well, you know the property's going to go up over time because you've got all the stats to prove that to you, then you'd be more comfortable with an interest-only loan, wouldn't you? Yep. So even after 8 years or 9 years, if you still owe $300,000 on what is now a $600,000 property, you're going to be worried about that? Yep. In fact, some people have this attitude that they never want to pay them off. Yep. Now this is going to scare some of you. But you're thinking, well, if you plan on never paying this big portfolio off with the massive amount of debt associated with it, but what's net worth made up of? Assets minus liabilities. So while assets are exceedingly higher than liabilities, isn't your net worth still intact? So the only problem that you might have is that if something happens to you and then your family members are left with a debt component, well, that's what life insurance is for. If you get life insurance, well, that takes care of it. So you get life insurance and you actually want to die. Because like with the landlord's insurance, if you die, you get to pay out all the mortgages and you just have the assets part of it. So that takes care of that one. Cool, eh? Yeah. Now the ultimate, someone once explained to me, the ultimate, they said, well, if you get life insurance, it's really perfect because he said that, well, when you lend money from the banks, you owe the banks money, don't you? Well, he said, well, a lot of the insurance companies are owned by the banks. So if you get life insurance and you've borrowed all this money, you've created the wealth for yourself and your family, and you leave you this huge legacy, you die, the banks who own the insurance company have to pay you in order to pay the banks. So it's really coming out of their money. It's great. It's perfect. It's a bulletproof strategy. It's wonderful. Any other questions about that sort of thing? No? Okay. By fixing your interest rate, remember we spoke about that earlier, by fixing your interest rate, you minimize the impact of future interest rate rises, don't you? And as I said, fix it for as long as you can, keeping it under that 8%, and you've put some bulletproof protection in the concern about interest rates. Now, if interest rates go up, it's still going to impact on you, isn't it? How is it going to impact on you potentially? The value of the property. Yeah? So it may not impact on your cash flow, but that's really your bread and butter stuff, your day-to-day stuff, so you've got that managed. Now, it may impact on the value of your property, but if you've protected yourself by being protected under a fixed interest rate for as long as you possibly can, then at least you know that you'll still survive through that period cash flow-wise, even though your real estate portfolio might be suffering in value at the time. Yep, so if you just ride it through, you'll come out on the other end and you're not scathed. In fact, if you set yourself up well, cash flow-wise and all that sort of thing, then if interest rates do go up to a point of where people are suffering, what's going to happen then? That might be to your advantage. More bargains on the table. More opportunities for you to buy at good prices. So, whether the market's good or whether it's bad, if you know what you're doing, both of those situations can give you opportunities. Yep. So with the right insurances and everything like that, so really fixing the rate is insurance against, isn't that insurance against interest rate rises? Life insurance is insurance against something happening to you and the debt being covered. Landlord's insurance is insurance against something happening to the house. And building insurance is like against natural sort of disasters and all that sort of stuff.